Well, Bill, thanks for allowing me to be a part of the program. It certainly is a pleasure to be a part of the program. It's always a pleasure to speak to Primerica audiences. I do want to share with you a talk, and it's called Stop Clowning Around and Be Extraordinary. Stop clowning around and be extraordinary. Now, you might be wondering, why in the world would I be talking about clowns? Why in the world would I be talking about that? Well, this all came from, as so many things in my life at this point do come, came from one of my children. Bailey, my oldest daughter, came home one day, and she came home just excited, bouncing off the wall, just really excited. And what she said was, "Daddy, it's going to be so much fun. You will be so cool." And what she was talking about was she had volunteered me to go to her school and dress up as a clown for a band festival and play the part of a clown at the festival. Go around and, the makeup, the costume, the whole deal to go and be this clown. Now, you don't understand. She wasn't unreasonable in asking me to do this because I tend to be in front of people all the time. So she thought I would be comfortable being in front of people. Well, my wife is an actress. She does all of the acting. She's on stage. She teaches one act at our local high school, and she loves playing parts. In fact, if you ask my wife to stand up and give a speech, she can't do it. She won't be able to do it. It's very hard for her because she just has trouble standing in front of people and being herself. Now, on the other hand, you give my wife a part in a play, and she can stand up and act all day long because she's not herself. She's this person that's in this play. I'm the exact opposite. If you give me a part and say, act out this part, I freeze. I don't know what to do. But if you ask me to stand up and just be myself and give a speech or give a talk, I can do that every day. It doesn't bother me the least to stand up and give a talk. So when my daughter came and asked me to dress up, actually put the makeup on, put the full costume on, and be a clown, I about had a heart attack. She thought it was going to be so cool, and I thought, this is my worst nightmare right here. But what happened was I dressed up, and I started to put on the makeup, and I started to put on the white, when you get dressed as a clown, you put on the white base first, and then you get out the colors and you emphasize and you gesture and you create a smile or you create a frown, you put the teardrops on, and you create this clown with makeup. You paint the face white, you put those features on, you dress up in a costume, and what I found out was that when I got the entire clown costume on, no one recognized me. No one knew who I was. And I went to this festival, and I was walking around, and people were trying to figure out who I was. And I realized that by putting on this clown costume and being able to hide behind that clown costume, I was actually able to create a new identity. I got into it. I created the whole character and everything. I had my little voice where I talk, and I say, "Hello, my name is Zebo. I'm the half-brother of my cousin Zorro." And, the one with the sword, and I'd grab the person's hand, and I would shake their hand like it was a sword, and I'd go around, and I created this entire persona that wasn't me as I walked around. But there was also another thing that I noticed. One thing that I noticed is that many people are scared to death of clowns. They are absolutely terrified of clowns. Why is that? And another question is, why do we have to teach our children that clowns are safe? Maybe a greater question is, why do we even bother to teach our children that clowns are safe? But that's what we do. Children naturally are afraid of clowns, and you have to teach them that clowns are safe and that it's okay to be around these clowns. But why are people scared of clowns? I believe that people are scared of clowns because clowns have gone to great lengths to dehumanize themselves. They've gone to great lengths to dehumanize themselves. They put on the whitewash face, And what that does is it takes all of the emotion, it takes all of the features, all of the gestures, everything that people can read about you, it whitewashes it and neutralizes it to where it's hard for people to see what you're feeling, to see how you're responding, to see what you're thinking. Then they go a step further and they add brightly colored false features. They brighten their eyes, they put on a smile, maybe they're frowning underneath, but all you see is that bright smile. And they put these brightly colored false features on, and then they put it together with a matching costume to become a clown. And when they do that, in a very large sense, they dehumanize themselves. Well, I believe that many business people have gone to even greater lengths to dehumanize themselves. They've done the same things. They've whitewashed their face. When it comes to business, they bring nothing personal into that business. It's all business, my personal life, my personal life, my business life, my business life. Who I am at home is not who I am in the office. And they dehumanize themselves by whitewashing their face and refusing to bring anything into their business setting. Now, the second thing that they do is they add to this whitewashed face brightly colored false features. You and I both know that in the business world, there are certain qualities that we look for in businessmen and women. And generally, when we go into that business atmosphere, we get into this pecking order, and one of the things that we try to do is we try to exaggerate the gifts and the abilities that we believe other people are looking for. And then we complete the whole ensemble with a costume so that we don't stand out, but we blend in and we fit into the business world. And I believe that when we do this, we are in fact dehumanizing ourselves. Dehumanizing ourselves to where people are unable to relate to us on a personal level. What I want to challenge you to do is I want to challenge you to stop clowning around and be extraordinary. Be the extraordinary person that you were created to be. I love the way Ralph Waldo Emerson stated it. He stated it like this: If we live truly, we shall truly live. If we live truly, we shall truly live. Do you realize that you are the only you that will ever walk this earth? You are the only you that will ever walk this earth. There's never been another you before you, and there will never be another you after you. You are the only you that will ever walk this earth. You know what that makes you? That makes you unique. It means that you have unique gifts and abilities. And it means that you have the ability to make a unique contribution in the world. And if you do not make that contribution, the world will never experience it because no one will ever be you. No one will ever be like you. And you cannot make that unique contribution by being someone else. You are the only you that will ever walk this earth. And you were created to be extraordinary. You were created to be extraordinary. Yet so many people spend their whole lives starting out from this extraordinary person that they were created to be. They spend their whole lives trying to become normal and end up dying ordinary. Ending up dying plain and ordinary. Herman Melville said it like this: It is better to fail in originality than to succeed in imitation. And how true that is. As a minister, I have people that come into my office all the time. They walk into my office, they're struggling with conflict, they're struggling with things, they're really having a hard time in their life, and they throw themselves down on my desk and they say, Warren, I just want to be normal. Normal? Who came up with that great idea? To be normal. Friends, let me let you in on a little secret. Don't ever try to be normal. Don't ever try to be normal. You will succeed and you will be miserable. You were not created to be normal. You were created to be extraordinary. You were created to be a person of purpose, a person of passion. Don't ever try to be normal. What is normal for our world? Normal for our world are people who are trying to imitate other people, trying to fit in, and end up dying ordinary. That is normal. Normal are people who are overwhelmed by their problems and their struggles. That is normal. Don't ever try to be normal. You will succeed and you will be miserable. Here's one thing I know. If you keep doing what you've always done, you'll keep getting what you've always got. What I'm saying there is simply this. If you desire to be something greater tomorrow than you are today, you have to let go of the person you are today to become who you want to be tomorrow. You cannot remain who you are today and become who you want to be tomorrow. You are created to be extraordinary. Don't die ordinary. Your responsibility is not to remake yourself. It's not to go out and invent this new persona. It's not to go out and try and become this great person. Your responsibility is not to remake yourself. It is to come alive to who you were created to be. I love the quote that's on your screen by Gil Bailey, and he states this: don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive. And then go do that. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. And how true that is. You know it. When you see someone who walks into your presence and they are fully alive, they are a person of passion, they are a person of purpose, you want to be around them, you want to be attracted to them. Why? Because they are alive. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do that. But one thing you can't do, you can't come alive to you by attempting to be someone else. And I understand what I'm saying when I say that. Being you makes you vulnerable. Opening yourself up to the real you, letting other people see the real you makes you vulnerable. It lets people see your weaknesses. It lets people see your flaws. It lets people see that, believe it or not, you're human. You're human and you have flaws and mistakes and there's personality traits that you don't like, just like all of the rest of us. And being you makes you vulnerable, but it also makes you powerful. It also makes you powerful because the most powerful people in this world are those who are confident and competent, and they are confident in being who they are. They are comfortable being themselves. Those are the most powerful people in the world. And Joan Welch gave us this warning. She said, you can't clear your own fields while counting the rocks on your neighbor's farm. What she's talking about there is you can't be you by constantly watching everybody else and comparing yourself to what everybody else is doing. What she's talking about there is this idea of imitation. And the worst disease, the absolute worst disease that is devastating our world, it's impacting every society at every level. The worst disease is the disease of imitation. The disease of imitation, trying to emulate, trying to imitate the people that are successful in our world. It's the worst disease because it kills unique people every day. It kills unique people every day. To succeed in imitating somebody else is to commit character suicide. To succeed in imitating someone else is to deprive the world of the unique contribution that you were meant to bring into it. The question is this: are you motivated? Are you motivated to succeed? Are you motivated to change? Are you motivated to grow? Are you motivated by a desire to discover your full potential, or a desire to keep up with everyone else? There's a huge difference between those two. If you're motivated by your desire to keep up with everyone else, then you are limited by everyone else. On the other hand, if you're motivated by a desire to reach your full potential, then you are unlimited in every way. There is no limitation on who you can become. 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 12 says it this way. But they, measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves among themselves, are not wise. One of the biggest mistakes that we make every single day is walking around comparing ourselves with the people that are around us. It's a devastating mistake. It's a devastating mistake. It is not wise, because when you compare yourself to other people and you measure yourself by other people, you are limited by those people. On the other hand, when you desire to discover your full potential, then you are unlimited in every way, and you can reach heights that no one else on earth has ever reached. I believe that you were created to be extraordinary. I believe that you are the only you that will ever walk this earth. I believe that you were created to be extraordinary. Psalms 139 talks about it. It's in the Bible, and maybe you're not a Christian, maybe you don't prescribe to the Bible, but still listen to this, because it shares my heart in how I believe that you were created. It says, "For you formed my inward parts, you covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my soul knows very well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully wrought in the lowest parts of the earth. Your eyes saw my substance being yet unformed, and in your book they were all were written, the days fashioned for me, when as yet there were none of them. How precious also are your thoughts to me, O God, how great the sum of them. If I should count them, they would be more in number than the sand. When I awake, I am still with you." I believe what that passage is saying, that you were fearfully and wonderfully made, and you are a marvelous work that was created to be extraordinary and have a unique contribution in this world. So the question becomes, how do we stop clowning around? How do we stop clowning around in business and become extraordinary? Well, the first thing is, I believe we need to stop exaggerating the quality you think the world wants to see. Stop exaggerating the quality you think the world wants to see. Now, there's a whole list of those. I've only put 3 up there. What most people think the world wants to see in you as a business person is they want to see power, vision, and purpose. Yet when we go out and we're clowning around, that looks very different than when we are living as an extraordinary, unique individual that we're created to be. Because when we talk about power, it's certainly able to put on the clown costume, go out there and put forward a show, an appearance of power. But it's a far different thing when we show up and we bring forward the reality of true power, being comfortable with who we were created to be. Not just having the appearance and putting up a show for people, but truly having power, being comfortable with who we are, knowing that no one can take it away from us. Knowing that no one can make us less than we are today, because we know who we were created to be. That is true power. Look at vision. In the business world, when you're clowning around, vision is abstract. Maybe it's to reach this dollar figure. Maybe it's to reach this sales number. Maybe it's to reach this point in our business, this point in our organization. That's an abstract idea of vision that a lot of people think that the business world needs to have. But I believe that if you want to radically impact your world, your vision must be different. Your vision must be on a personal level. Not looking at numbers or figures or organizations, but looking at the people that you come into contact with every single day and having a vision for how they can become better tomorrow than they are today. That is where life change happens. That is where the world is truly impacted, when your vision is brought down to the personal level that shows somebody how to be better tomorrow than they are today. Certainly, we think that business people need to have a purpose. They need to be passionate about that purpose. And they need to have a purpose. Yet most of the time, that image, when we're dressed up in that clown suit, really comes down to a self-serving purpose, where we use the people around us, we use the people we come in contact with, we use the people under us to help us achieve our purpose. And how different that is when we become who we were created to be. And instead of having a self-serving purpose, we have the purpose of serving. We have our purpose on this earth is to serve, to lift up, to upbuild, to increase, to impact, to help people be better tomorrow than they are today. How do we stop clowning around? We stop exaggerating features like the ones we just talked about, but then we don't wear the whitewashed face. We be real around the people around us. We become who we were created to be, and we act as that real person. One thing I know is when you are wearing that clown face, when you are acting the part, when you're faking it until you make it, you have a misrepresentation of who you are. You have a misrepresentation, and you are putting forward a misrepresentation, and when you are faking it until you make it, you think everyone else around you is doing the same thing. I love that quote by Brennan Manning, because that's exactly what it's talking about there when it says, wrong thinking about God and other people often begins with a debased image of ourselves. When you fake it till you make it, what you're saying is that who I am is not good enough, so I have to put forward this image of who I'd like to be, because who I am is not good enough. And that debased image of yourself, seeing yourself as less than you were created to be, that leads to wrong thinking about God and wrong thinking about other people. How do we stop playing around? How do we become real? We need to dedicate time to self-discovery. I love that quote by Socrates. The life which is unexamined is not worth living. And there is no greater truth than that. The life that is unexamined is not worth living. It's when we examine our lives that we are awakened to all the other truths that God has for us. And when I talk about self-discovery and self-examination, I'm not talking about self-improvement or performance enhancement. There are millions of books on those two topics: self-improvement, personal growth and development, performance enhancement. What I'm talking about is digging in and discovering who you were created to be. Asking open-ended questions and digging in, finding your gifts, your abilities, finding out what it is that makes you come alive so that you can go do that. How do we stop clowning around? Perhaps maybe the simplest way to answer that is to honestly complete one sentence. How do you stop clowning around, become who you were created to be? Answer this sentence. Complete this sentence. I exist to serve God, or you may want to put mankind in there. I exist to serve God and mankind by what? Why are you on this earth? Who is it that you were created to be? Why do you exist? I exist to serve God and mankind by what? Spend some time in self-discovery to complete that sentence, and then simply go live it out. And you will live out an extraordinary life. You will impact the lives of other people. Martin Luther King Jr. said this: everyone can be a leader because everyone can serve his fellow man. The question is, do you have the courage to be you? Do you have the courage to be you? I love this point. Listen to this. Just sit back, read the words, and listen. Our greatest fear. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, and fabulous? Actually, Who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we are unconsciously giving other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I love that point. Do you have the courage to be who you were created to be? Do you have the courage to live as the extraordinary person that you were created to be? Do you have the courage to stop clowning around and be extraordinary? You cannot become who you want to be in this world by remaining who you are. And no one cares what you can do or what you know. No one cares what you know until they know how much you care. And what I'm saying there is that the way that you change the world is by impacting the lives of other people. The way you impact the lives of other people is through serving other people. And through serving other people, you come alive to the extraordinary person that you were created to be. And you are able to stop clowning around and be extraordinary. The last slide that I want to share with you, I'm just going to put it up here on the screen. You might take a look at that. These are some resources that have radically impacted my life in the development of discovering who I was created to be. There's the Bible, the On-Purpose Business, The Path, Thinking for a Change, Margin, The Lost Choice, Soar with Your Strength, The Journey of Desire, The Ragamuffin Gospel, Leadership and Self-Deception, and Grace Walk. These are all books that I've read and I highly recommend because each one of them has radically impacted my life in some way in personal growth and development. Thank you for allowing me to come and talk with you. I certainly appreciate it. I certainly appreciate Bill allowing me to take part in the seminar. And Bill, I am going to turn it back over to you. Let you take it from there. Thank you for letting me be a part of this, Bill.
Thank you, and I'm